methodology. The Tat Tei Ta Ha is rather a long adavu because you have so many sets of 8. And when you do the first Tat Tei Ta Ha, you have 3 sets of 8 and not 4 sets. So it is done in Rupakatalam. We will get into that another time. But now let us do the Tat Tei Ta Ha. Let us first see the right side. Second speed. Dallang kutaka dikku taka tadinkin natum tat tei ta ha dit tei ta ha tat tei ta ha dit tei ta ha tat tei ta ha dit tei ta. So you see that's only the right side. So it's really a long adavu which tests your stamina. And besides that, it brings a lot of control over your legs, because when you do this kuttanam, in Kudithamettadavu, you drop it with sound. Here is a time when you have to do the kuttanam and lift the other leg and strike it, which calls for a lot of control because you are not flat on the ground. It's easier to do a tattu with the other leg flat on the ground. But here is a tattu where the other leg is standing on its on the toe and this leg does a firm tattu. So that is one of the important parts in the Tat Tei Ta Ha. Can you see it? Just the legs. 1, 2, 3 and Tat Tei Ta Ha Dit Tei Ta Ha. Let's now look at the legs alone, the first part of it. 1, 2, 3 and Tat Tei Ta Ha Dit Tei Ta Ha. So if you see, the other leg is raised and this leg strikes the floor. So this is where it's challenging. Yeah. Now you have twice the same leg movements, but only your hand and torso changes for the this first part, the first and second part of Tat Tei Ta Ha. Then you have a third part which is different. Now let us see the hands along with the legs for the first 2 parts. 1, 2, 3 and Tat Tei Ta Ha and Dit Tei Ta Ha. So you are starting in the center. Tat Tei are straight lines you are drawing with no lean, bend, nothing. Lean, bend, shift, nothing comes. It's just a strong movement of the torso, of having this kind of, this pulling up feeling when you do this, and turn and look a profile which is where your eyes are going farther than your hand and proud to an extent, not bad proud but good proud. Tat Tei Ta, when you go for the kuttanam, what we need to do is make sure your hand is the place where your eyes come. Ta, you are looking at your hand. Ha. So if you see this is closed and your eyes are closed, ha, this is open and your eyes are open with the tattu. So if you bring all these 3 things together, this will look like a closed movement and then you are immediately opening it. That effect is what is expected out of this particular adavu, and often the mistake is ta itself comes outside, because ta is such a sensitive and a very subtle movement that most people would like ta and come up. Instead, ta, stay with your hand, really stay with your hand. Ha is when you throw it at the audience with a lot of confidence, at the same time make it not too strong that it scares the person in front of you. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3 and Tat Tei Ta Ha Dit Tei Ta Ha. If you also notice Ta Ha, that before that dit, the hand came to the center and the left was done. So every time you finish the 4 beats, you have to come to the center. Right, ta, ha, ta, ha, and dit. There is one fraction before which you bring your hands to the center. Let's see it once again. 1, 2, 3, and tat, te, ta, ha, and dit, te, ta, ha. Now, after you finish dit, te, ta, ha, and you're again to the center. Now, you're going to go front, pull back, ta, ha. So, where do you go front? Put both the hand in front and put the right hand on top of the left. This is your position and move in that angle. Tat, te. So, tat is forward, te is pulling back and looking the same profile. So, when you do tat, te, it brings that idea of royalty again. You go front, te. So, that is the second part. Ta, ha remains the same. Let's do it. The second part. 1, 2, 3. And tat, te, ta, ha, dit, te, ta, ha. That's right. Tat, if you can make sure that the chin is not doing so much, but the body is doing that work. Can you try that? 1, 2, 3. And tat, te, ta, ha. Chin down. Dit, te, ta, ha. Yes. The right one worked. The left one, the chin was up. Can you try it without the chin up? 1, 2, 3. And tat, te, ta, ha. Dit, te, ta, ha. This is the first and the second part of the Adavu. Now you have the third part, which is dit, te, ta, ha. That is, you have the same chollu, but you're not having only the fourth beat as the big beat, but you're doing tak, ka, tak, ka, tak, ka, tak, ka. Fairly easy. The legs are fairly easy. Can we just do the legs? 1, 2, 3. Tak, ka, tak, ka, tak, ka, tak, ka. That's right. So, let's do the hand now. Only the hands. You are having your hand in this position. If you remember, the first two parts were in this position, the starting point. Now, it is in this position. And how do you do this? You first make both these fingers look at each other and just turn them out one little bit. So, you feel that the flow of energy is outside as well. It's not just directed towards each other, which also sort of rounds your shoulder a little. So, relax your shoulder and keep this mudra. Tat, te. In this particular Adavu, you have, like how you flex your foot, you also make your hand perpendicular to your forearm. So, tat, te. When you do this, think about it like a tick mark there. Can you just try this? Only the hand. 1, 2. Slightly out. Yes. 1, 2, 3. And tat, te, ta, ha. So, you start with this and then form a tick with your hand. And when you do form the tick, think that from your elbow till the end of the tick, there is one single line. So, which means tat, te, you are making sure you are bending. So, this is also changing direction slightly. Yes. So, it forms a beautiful line from the elbow to the tip of your, the beginning of your palm. So, when you do this, tat, te, make sure this is not going back or turning forward. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. And tat, te, ta, ha. And then you have this movement. You finished with the tick here. You started plain and finished with the tick mark with your wrist. Here you begin with the tick and then become straight. So, it's like an opposite movement. In, out, in. when it comes to the wrist. Let us see it again. 1, 2, from here, and you can finish there. 1, 2, 3, and Tat Tei Ta Ha, Dhit Tei Ta Ha. So your starting position is here, and from there you look inside along with the shoulder movement. So it actually feels as though something is dropping from here to here. Tat, Tei, Tat, Tat, you finish here. Tei, you look straight. But this keeps on going. Don't think that it's just turning. Tat, Tei, Ta, Ha. So here there are different versions. You can either drop to your elbow or to your shoulder. We prefer the shoulder because it forms a grander stretching out when you look at the shoulder and then come there. Let's see this. This is the most challenging part of this adavu, the last part. 1, 2, only the hands. Tat, Tei, Ta, Ha, Dhit, Tei, Ta, Ha. So now let us try and put all of these together and do only the right side. Dhalang kutak dikku tak tadinkin tum tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha Tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha Tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha. So you are finishing on your left. Now the commonest problem is after finishing on the left, you have to remember to start again on the left. This is a mistake which many people make even until they get to a varnam or something, where they suddenly feel after this you're doing your right and your legs go haywire because of that. So when you finish Ta, Ha, remember when you want to start the left, you strike the same leg in which you finished. Let's just do the third part and then continue to the left. 1, 2, 3, and Tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha Tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit. On the beat, Ta Ha Tei Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha Tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha. Right. So now when you do Dhit Tei Ta Ha, imagine this particular movement ends there. Tat Tei, and if you see, it's also a segment. You know, when we learn geometry, we speak about lines and line segments. When you say line segment, there is one point and another point, and you're drawing a line in between them, which means there is a definite start and a definite end. Then you have the line where you just put it and put an arrow mark so it can keep going on forever. It's the same concept because you have a stopping factor. Your wrist is at an angle, so you can't keep on going there. Even if it is there, the point is here, so you can't go there either. So you have a segment here. You start at a point, finish at a point. But here you are finishing here as a line segment, and then you have this line which can keep going. Ta. See, after I finish, I can still keep going. Not so much that your entire body turns, but Ta Ha is a line. It's not a segment. It's a line with an arrow mark which can keep going. So when you feel the difference in the same third part, where one you are having a very finite movement, you stop, and then a long expansive movement. That's what we want to try. Let's do the third part again. 1, 2, 3, and Tat Tei Ta Ha Dhit Tei Ta Ha. So the idea is to make yourself taller when you do this. So in layer 1, you are going to look out for your kuttanam, and when you strike, you're going to make sure that the other leg stays, and you're going to remember when you finish on the right, when you finish your right side, you will end on the left, start on the same leg, which is the left when you go to the next one. This is for your legs, and when it comes for your torso, the torso literally does nothing except hold that regal sort of a look. Tat Tei Ta Ha is as it is, and when it comes to the forward torso movement, you are going to go here and go further and pull back. So that is your second part, and the third part is a segment first and a line for the second. So work on it, take time to do with one single focus when you do the adavu, and then you can move to the next point of focus. Rather than putting all the points into one practice session, separate it. It's okay if you just get the legs part and then you go into the torso and then you go into the hands, it's perfectly fine. Now you can practice.